You look like a character right out of Alan Wake right now.
Really?
Yeah, because they always have the warm clothes because it's always foggy as shit and rainy and dark. You just need a flashlight.
That's funny. Good. Actually, now that you mention that, I could totally see it.
Yeah, right?
Dude, what a great game Alan Wake is.
So good.
What a game. And it's so underrated, too.
I know. Like, I just want to go back and play it, but looking at the graphics is rough. It's so old now. I
want to experience it again for the first time.
Right.
You know what I mean?
There's a lot of games that I'm like Bioshock. I want to experience. I wish I could experience Bioshock again for the first time.
I wish, man.
Bioshock Infinite was my favorite, dude.
Bioshock Infinite is good.
It wasn't definitely the best, like when it came to storyline and everything else, but I enjoyed it.
Did you play one?
No, I didn't get to play.
Oh,
I did
dude,
not get
you
to
should
play
go
one.
back. You should get the remastered because they remastered it, so the graphics are good. And honestly, the gameplay still holds up.
Yeah,
it's
the world
it's
building.
Good. Yeah, oh yeah.
The world building in the first Bioshock game was elite.
It was like ahead of its time, wasn't it?
Oh, it's so good. It's such everything. I mean, the world building's great. The characters are interesting. Honestly, the gameplay like holds up. The story is great. Like the story is just fantastic.
Probably the strongest part of it.
Yeah. It's just really good in a lot of different ways, which is great. Crazy too, because they were working with such a small budget. And yeah, man, it aged well. Yeah. It's great.
Well, another game I wish I experienced for the first time again. Last of Us, the first one.
Oh yeah, that's
one of the few times I've ever cried while playing a video game.
I've never played that.
I think I can count on
what, the beginning of the game or the end.
Dude, multiple times.
Both times,
like all of it.
I didn't cry in the beginning. I was just shocked. I was like,
when freaking Joel's daughter died, I was like.
If you haven't played the game yet, you should.
Yeah.
I thought you haven't played it.
I haven't played it, but you already spoiled it.
Oh yeah.
But to be fair, his daughter dying happens within literally the first like 5 minutes of the game.
I remember that specifically because my brother would play games and I just watch him like a movie.
Yeah,
just kind of help him along.
Even in that short time, you could already they already did such a good job of like introducing characters, like making you feel the moment.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah,
like that opening they did with her like trying to figure out what's going on and everything.
Yeah,
like that's the thing. It's like it doesn't take very long to connect you to characters in film or video games if you do it right.
Mm-hmm.
And like they did it right.
Oh yeah.
And I immediately had a connection and they immediately take advantage of that connection.
Yeah.
And it's like that's just like the beginning of them toying with your emotions through the whole game.
It's like Dom Gears of War 3.
Oh, that's a rough one, yeah.
Have you finished the second one yet? For Last of Us?
Fuck no. Honestly, I just lost interest, man. I'll be honest.
Just watch the ending of it.
Yeah, I probably should. Because I mean, the story was interesting. It's just I got busy and I just didn't get back to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's one of those things where I was like, well, I want to go back and finish it, but now it's been so long, so I just feel like I'll get lost and like not remember what's happening. And I'll just probably watch it. I should.
I hated it at first when you start playing as Abby, but it starts getting better.
The reason you hated it is because it was bad. Like, let's start with that.
It was bad at first.
It was bad the whole way through.
No. Didn't it get like a lot of like awards or something, or just nominations?
I don't remember actually.
I know a lot of people hated it.
Yeah,
but
none of the characters had good motivation. Abby had literally zero motivation, and then you had Ellie, whose motivation did not fit the character that they set up in the first game.
But I feel like towards the end of the game, it's better.
All the side characters sucked.
I think too, the first game had so many. They were great at sprinkling in the endearing moments when they were needed to like lighten up the story a bit. Whereas I feel like the second game just didn't have that. Like
they had those moments, but they didn't have the same
just
effect
weren't done well
because they didn't earn them.
Yeah.
With Ellie and Joel, you got to explore the relationship. You knew what motivations they had. The storyline was very clear.
Yeah.
With Abby, she shows up, kills Joel, and then after the fact, it's like, well, look at her playing with this dog. Which, and if we had like started out with her flashbacks and got to know her, maybe that would have endeared us to her. But when you start with her killing a main character, and it wasn't even that she killed Joel, and it wasn't even that Joel died. It was the way they handled it, because Joel died in a way that Joel would not have died. Because they established Joel as a survivalist, as like Joel's character, he doesn't just go into a random group of people saying his name, knowing who he is and people know him, and just like being in the middle of the room, able to be ambushed so easily.
Yeah.
Like if they would have thrown something in, maybe like, oh, since they've settled down, he hasn't been out doing like supply runs and stuff, so he lost his touch or something. But they never did anything. They didn't give us any reason that Joel would be so reckless. They didn't give us any reason that the people acted the way they did. It just happened because we need Joel to die.
Didn't we
Ellie
actually
needs to want revenge.
We talked about this already.
I was gonna say, I remember us talking about this
I don't-
early in the pod, and I think our conclusion was instead of killing Joel immediately and then introducing Abby, that they should have introduced Abby, made us care about her as a character, then killed Joel.
Yeah.
Just to
would've
kind of
helped.
conflict us.
I mean, I have like a million other things that I think they should have done.
Oh,
But,
yeah, I mean,
like,
just a lot of
short
things.
version, yes.
I think I don't remember saying this when we first talked about it, but because we like said just like the endearing scenes were good. Dude, I'll never forget the scene in the first game where you're walking through the buildings and then you see all the giraffes outside.
Oh yeah.
And it's like this weird kind of endearing moment where you're like, man, there's all this like death and destruction and everything, but there's still some form of like life persevering.
yeah, when they're at the zoo.
Yeah, and that one, there
That was
wasn't
my
any
favorite mission.
It was great.
Well, and
There
that's
wasn't
when,
any lead up. It was just good.
Remember, that was the point in the game when Ellie like hated Joel.
Yeah.
Because she figured out what Joel did and everything.
Yeah.
And like that part was like the first step towards them, like, you know, it kind of like shone a light through and
Yeah.
it had a little bit of a connection. It's like that's like one of the many moments that like showed like, oh, like it showed their relationship and that they're two people interacting
Yeah.
whose relationship goes through ups and downs. And like
executed so well.
yeah, it didn't
Ah, man.
the everyone in the second game, like I felt like Joel and Ellie were people that existed.
Yeah.
In the second game, I'm like, these are characters that are being written this way because it's convenient for the plot. Because
Right.
Ellie, like knowing the character of Ellie from the first game, she would not have done many of the things that she did in the second game. She just wouldn't have.
Right.
She's too smart. She's not that. She's too optimistic to be doing and saying the things that happened.
Right.
They kind of just went in.
I felt like it
kinda,
was rushed.
Took the humanity out of it and humility, you know, because like
It's tough.
just hearing, because I never played, I can't really say like, oh, it's just terrible. But hearing from what you guys are talking about, it just kind of sounds they took the humanity and humility away from these characters and just really wanted to build a whole new like either game or aspect or just like
It felt more manufactured.
perspective. Yeah,
They valued what happened in the storyline and what events they wanted to happen. You know, Joel dying, the revenge sequence, the revenge plot from Ellie to Abby.
Yeah.
They cared more about that sequence happening. Like, and a perfect example of it at the end when they fight and like Ellie like cuts Abby down from the cross and like to fight her like hand to hand when like we know Ellie is like smart, survivalist, Joel trained her like she's not into like honor fighting everything. No, she's gonna be smart. She's gonna avoid conflict. She would have just walked up and shot her.
Right. Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. That's a real like
So,
gamified scene. Huh?
yeah,
Yeah,
and it's
the ending kind of pissed me off. How they're fighting and then she just lets her go.
right, like, and they just valued what they want, events they wanted to happen in the story, and like the storyline itself over the characters. Like, that's why a lot of characters did stuff that you're like, I don't think they would have done that. Like, I don't think they would do that.
Man.
Like, and it was kind of just like those moments the whole game that take you out of it because like
we already know her.
Story has to be driven by the characters.
Yeah.
It needs to feel real. It needs to feel like this is what these characters would have done given these circumstances.
Yeah.
But it just felt like these characters doing and saying things that they would never say or do just because it's convenient for where the writers want the story to go.
Yeah. I mean, we already knew her. Like, it wasn't like
Right.
starting from scratch. It was like we already have kind of a profile of who she is, and,
Right.
like what we think she would do.
Like with Abby, it's like, okay, whatever. She can do whatever. Like, we don't
Yeah.
know. Like, what she does is going to shape who we think of her as a character.
Yeah. Yeah.
But like when you have a well-established character like Ellie, you can't just be like, well, we need her to do this.
Yeah. Yeah.
And instead of actually writing a situation where in her character she would react this way, we're just going to have her do it
Yeah.
because it's convenient. Like,
Yeah.
I did not. It's not good.
Yeah.
Anyways, I don't want to stick too much with that.
Yeah,
'cause
let's
we
not
already
talk
talked
about this
it.
again.
I know somebody listening to this is going to be like, these motherfuckers talked about this exact thing like 30 weeks ago and said the exact same points back then.
Yeah.
And they're saying it again.
You know the other thing,
and they're still valid.
Yeah.
they're not like
You know the other one.
We're
of the
talking
other
about this again
games-
for the new viewers.
Yeah. You know one of the other games I played? One of the few games where I've cried.
What's that?
Camera like this. Life is Strange.
Oh, I haven't played the whole thing, but I could. Excuse me. Oh my god,
Whoa.
I could see it.
Wait, what's
I'm trying to think what
I've
game
never-
that
wait.
is.
The chick, the bitch with the blue hair.
Oh yeah. That was too loud. Yeah.
You know what? I don't know. Like,
It's so funny.
I don't know if anyone's
all it
really
took.
like played this game, or like it was a really.
I
big...
knew you would know exactly what I was talking about too.
Thanks.
I finally finished it a couple weeks ago. It was fucking awesome.
Anyways, Alec, you were saying?
Okay, but there's this game. I think it's based off of Tower. I think it's called Tower Watch or The Watch. It's whenever
Firewatch.
Firewatch.
Dude,
Yeah.
that
That
game.
game's
Oh
so-
my god, dude,
that
that
game's
one
amazing.
fucking great, dude.
My-
That's like
yeah.
top tier indie game,
Dude,
Oh my
my brother
god.
bought that game the night it came out, and like all of his friends were like, we were all just there, and we all like, and my brother's like, hey, I'm gonna buy this game. Like, y'all want to just like play it with us? We stayed up until I think it was like 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah,
Played it straight through, like literally.
yeah.
We finished that game that night.
Oh my god, it's
Like,
so
The
good.
story is so like
Such
deep
a
played it.
clean
and
6 or
in-depth.
7 hour
But
experience.
Yeah.
that makes a lot more sense because every time I go to change my wallpaper on my computer, that pops up all the time.
That's a yeah.
Dude,
But,
that's-
yeah.
The art, I love the animation style. In
Yeah.
it.
It
It's
was-
so good.
It's a really good game.
Yeah.
It was very like the story and like the characters. Like they don't tell you much about like the characters, especially the girl who's like on the walkie-talkie.
Don't
Yeah.
spoil on that thing because I'm
Yeah.
gonna buy it tonight. and
But
play
they
it.
do sprinkle in like there's random parts like as the story goes on where you kind of start to get little bits and bobs of like her past.
See,
Yeah.
I love games like that leave it to you to figure out this. Like, they don't just go like, here's a little hint, and then 5 minutes later go, hey, stupid, if you didn't get it, this is what we meant.
Yeah.
I love that they let it be like, this is what we're going to give you.
Yeah.
Make the story from what we give you.
Yeah.
I
You kinda
love, that's why I loved,
Life is Strange. That's how they do it. Like at the end of the chapter, they show you like all the options that you could have made.
yeah.
What it could have done.
But play Firewatch.
Yeah, you really should.
I'll
man.
buy
It's
tonight,
so
probably.
good.
And
it came out whenever we
it
were
does-
sophomores in high school.
Oh really?
Because Firewatch
Yeah.
has a part in the game where like it doesn't show anything, but it gets like, you know, like kind of sexual, like hot and steamy type of thing.
Right, right.
Boobies.
And most
No,
games
it
when
really
that, you know, remember what I'm talking about? The part I'm talking about? When they're on the walkie-talkies in the towers and it's like at
That's the
night.
whole game.
No, but like the
oh.
part where they start talking about like, you know,
Oh, right.
they like start to get into it and then it, like,
Yeah.
fades out. But like
Yeah, I
most
know
games
what
when
you're
they
talking
do that, I'm just like, oh, this is like weird fan service stuff. Like,
Yeah.
but that game I'm like, that actually like makes sense.
Because it
Yeah.
felt like restrained
Like
in a
you-
natural
yeah.
way.
Yeah.
It didn't feel like, oh, 0 to like, okay, now it's fan fiction.
Yeah.
it felt awkward as it really would have been awkward to do for
Yeah.
the first time with someone else.
yeah.
Like especially because it's basically just sexting over walkie-talkie.
Yeah. And like the way the guy was sort of trying to sprinkle in like a bit of sarcasm to lighten the mood. I'm like, yeah, that's
Yeah.
kind of what you would do. Like
Right.
realistically, if you've got this coworker that's like across the forest and you just talk through walkie-talkies, like
It's
makes sense.
Yeah.
yeah.
No, the ending is like
the ending. Oh my god.
it's weird. It's sad, but not in like a I want to cry type of way. It's sad in like a what could have been type
Yeah.
of way.
Just like
Yeah.
don't ruin it for Cameron because Cameron.
I'm
said
not.
But it
Yeah.
still
But-
leaves it on a point where you're like, they could have a good resolution later on.
yeah.
But you just don't have more. I would like to just see, oh, what happens later on.
Like it's like,
Like-
I know there's like it was such a complete story that there's no need for a sequel, but I
Yeah.
kind of want a sequel
Yeah,
just
yeah.
because it's so
I
good.
want
Yeah.
a sequel that doesn't even have any like gameplay or plot. I just
Just-
want to see what happens with them.
yeah, like I just
Yeah.
wanted the text at the end that's like, you know, they
Just
lived
wanna see the
happily ever
aftermath.
after, like some
Yeah.
shit where it's like this person went on and did this and blah blah blah.
Yeah, I just want to
But-
see like a montage of like their lives after.
like the end credits, like whenever it
Yeah.
says this
Yeah.
person went to jail like 2 years after,
Yeah.
like this person did this.
You know
Just want
what?
something, man.
You know what movie I like for the same reason though?
What's
that like
that?
they didn't like hold your hand as a viewer. They were just like, we're gonna drop stuff that like we're not telling you it, but if you notice it, it like adds to the story. Was No Country for Old Men.
Oh fuck, I haven't seen it.
I felt
I need
like
to watch
good.
it.
fall
Fuck.
asleep every
It's
time
been
I
so
watch it.
long
I
since
need to
I've seen
watch it.
I
Yeah,
don't remember.
like because the killer Antoine, like there's stuff they don't say, but they'll show,
Mhm.
and it's like you notice throughout the movie he's very clean with his boots, and every time before he makes a kill, like he'll take his boots off, put him somewhere else and everything like that. And if they do get dirty, he makes a point to like check and see if they have blood on them and clean them and everything. And there's a scene towards the end of the movie where he goes to this woman's house. And I won't spoil like why he's there but he goes in there and it's basically like she's begging for her life, blah, blah, blah. And then they don't show whether he killed her or not. But as he's walking out of the house, he stops at the top of the stairs and checks his boots. So they don't tell you whether she's dead or not or anything like that. But if you've been an attentive viewer, you know, like, oh, he checked his boots.
Yeah.
That means he's afraid there's blood on it. That means he killed her.
Yeah.
And it's just little things like that. And it's not even just that one thing. It's like throughout the whole movie, there's stuff like that where they give you like, it's a way to like, instead of doing like a big conversation, like exposition dump.
Instead of being like, so did you kill her?
Yeah.
Yes, I did kill her.
Is the job done? Instead, it's like, hey, we're gonna drop these like nonverbal cues and make you be an attentive audience member. They assume their audience is smart, which is a thing of most filmmakers.
I thought the movie was a lot older than 2007.
No, it's not that old. It's really good.
It's like whenever they ask what's in the box, whenever Brad Pitt asks,
that's 7.
I know it's 7. I know it's a different movie.
That movie's also awesome.
Yeah.
What's in the box?
Kind of just
It's a dick in a box.
And then they leave out like
they kind of like don't really go over what's in the box. They kind of just leave it to you.
Well, yeah, and I also leave out like because everyone's thinking like at the end like he was killing everyone who did the 7 deadly sins, and then it's like who was a victim of the 7th one, Rage, and it's like because Brad Pitt kills him in Rage, he now dies, which means the cycle's complete and blah blah blah. But they don't like tell you that.
Interesting.
It's all like really like independent movie makers or just like really in-depth movies that
No Country for Old Men was not an independent movie.
It's good.
I agree with the assertion that you're making, but No Country for Old Men was not an independent movie.
Oh, I didn't know that. I'm sorry.
It's just good writers.
7 was an independent movie though.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if it was independent. It was like a small movie.
Like
Yeah, because I've heard of that one.
Normal Activity.
You haven't?
What?
No, I haven't heard of 7.
Oh, it's really good. It has Morgan Freeman and Brad Pitt.
Interesting.
And
Dude, just
Kevin
by those
Spacey.
2 people.
Yeah, I know. It sounds like a
So,
good movie.
Yeah. So basically, Morgan Freeman's like a detective in this town that's basically like super. It's basically like Sodom and Gomorrah of now. Like there's a super amount of crime, and basically Morgan Freeman's been a detective there forever, and he's jaded. Like he's like nothing matters. Like everyone's bad.
Like
Every person's
old,
terrible.
grizzled cop type of personality.
And then Brad Pitt comes in. He's a new detective that's like very like like. No, we need to stop these people.
Like,
we
yellow.
need to bring justice, that type of thing.
Yeah.
And then Kevin Spacey comes in. He's like the serial killer, and he's basically
that makes sense.
It's called 7 because he's killing people, and like he's killing people because like each person is a representation of one of the 7 deadly sins. So it's like he kills like a super fat dude that's because he's like sloth. Like he ties him to his bed, and then like for someone who's like a corporate guy who has like a bunch of money, he kills him, and that's greed and blah blah blah. And then he basically goes through that, and then it's there like trying to figure it out and all that. And basically throughout the movie, like Brad Pitt eventually gets to the point where he's like, this motherfucker is like terrible, like there's nothing good left in him, like he can't be saved, and then he ends up killing him. And Morgan Freeman ends up kind of having the opposite character arc where he's like he says like there's a quote that they use in the movie. It says, like humans are good, or life is, human beings at their core are good, and humanity deserves to be fought for. And then at the end of the movie, he has a line that like kind of like wraps up his character arc where he's like there's this quote. I agree with the second part where he's like, I think most people are still bad and everything, but humanity is like,
There's still
you need
some
to
good
fight
in
for it,
humanity, yeah.
right? Type of thing. So he has that character arc, and it's basically that. It's kind of a character study through like John Doe. It's really good.
Interesting.
It's my type of movie because it's like character driven story.
Yeah.
And you're more watching the story arc, and that's the story rather than these characters support like the ending of this movie, which is supposed to be epic, which I detest.
Oh yeah. Oh shit. Speaking of movies, so I said before I watched The Godfather.
Right.
It's great.
God,
I got
such
The
a great-
Godfather 2 in now. So I haven't watched it yet, but whenever I do, I'll have something to say about it.
Wait.
So
The best one.
Wait, I forget if that I can't. I always forget. That's the one he says, "Leave the gun, take the cannoli."
Godfather 2?
I think.
I mean, I haven't watched it yet, so I wouldn't know.
Oh, you haven't watched it yet?
No, I have it. I
Oh.
just haven't actually watched it yet.
All right, watch it.
I just caught it in like
I keep
couple days
forgetting
ago.
which
What
one
did you
it's
think
in.
of part 1?
Dude, I didn't realize how many iconic scenes and lines were in that movie.
Oh yeah.
Because there's so many of them that are just kind of part of like popular culture now.
You can refuse.
Yeah, I didn't realize that was The Godfather.
You didn't?
No, I didn't realize. I was watching the movie and there's so many scenes and lines and things that were happening, and I was like, I've either heard this line when people just like the offer you can't refuse, like people just drop that in conversation.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize, oh, that's from this movie?
That's because it's one of the greatest movies of all time.
Oh my god, it's crazy. And it's like it's interesting too because it's consistently so good. Like the whole 3 hours.
Right. That it doesn't feel like there's a spot where it's like kind of like lulling where you're like
Nah. It's continuously like I wasn't exactly sure where it was gonna go, and it was like I don't know. It was like slow, and they were building the characters, but at the same time, there was exciting stuff happening. So it wasn't like there was points where I was just like, "Well, this is boring as fuck." No, it was like it was really good, man. So like, I'm really excited now for the second
you're
one.
gonna love part 2.
Yeah, I'm hyped.
Part 3 is the weakest of the trilogy.
Yeah.
But still amazing.
I agree.
Yeah.
But there's still some good like aspects in that.
Yeah.
Oh no, it's still. I mean, I'd give it an 8 out of 10.
Yeah.
But the other two were like
10.
Godfather
when you
2
compare
was
it to
Godfather
the
Part
other
2 was
two.
a 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
Godfather Part 1 was a 9 out of 10.
Right.
Probably like a 9.5 out of 10.
Yeah.
Have you guys seen Going in Style?
No.
Morgan Freeman.
No, I haven't.
Wait, Going in Style. It's they rob a bank, right?
Yeah, there's
Yes,
like a
I've
bunch
seen
of old
it.
people, or I think it's 3 old people, or like best friends,
4 old guys.
or 4 best friends are like in their 80s, and they go rob a bank, and it's just fucking funny.
And they
Oh,
get away
dear
with
God.
it, which is hilarious.
And the first part of the movie is them trying to practice robbing, so they go to a grocery store and try to rob.
Oh dear
And
God.
they just do fucking terrible. Like I think it's Morgan Freeman. Morgan Freeman walks out of the store with a bunch of meat in his shirt and stuff.
So they're just robbing like a supermarket?
Yeah,
Oh
and they
my
all get
God.
caught.
Oh my
They're
god.
just trying to get the hang of things. But it's honestly a pretty good movie. It's not terrible. I give it like a 7.
So it's 2 points under Godfather 1.
You know what?
Dun, dun, dun.
No, bring it lower.
It's pretty good. I'll give it an F.
Okay.
Shut up.
All right.
No, but like it's not bad. There's still like some plot holes because I don't want to
It's
give it away.
okay. I'll give it
Like the plot
A.
hole where they're all 80 years old.
They're 80 years old, but like there's this kid who sees a watch and one of the grandpas doesn't take it off. And like she's looking at which one of them did it. He's still wearing the watch whenever she's like looking.
And the kid just doesn't pick him.
Yeah, and I'm just like, okay.
But I think that's just because like
Yeah,
she
knew.
realized that he has a
Yeah.
grandson, and she's like, I'm not gonna be an asshole and pick him.
Yeah.
Wait, what do you mean pick them? What do you?
Like, because in the
You know-
movie they got a bunch of people.
You know how
that
they
they-
line people up and they're like, which one did
Oh
it?
yeah,
And they're
yeah,
like,
yeah.
they had the
Where they're like
girl go
identify the.
Yeah, they had
the
the
murderer,
suspect
the
go in.
suspect,
And
yeah.
Right, right,
she just
right.
didn't pick anyone.
Yeah, she just looks and
Got
she's
it.
like, nope, none of these guys, and walks out.
Got it. Got it.
It's
got
funny
it.
because they're all in wheelchairs and they all look like they're like not all there and they're just like kind of looking straight
Just
down.
like,
Super
"Ugh."
geriatric.
Yeah. And I'm just like, okay, like these guys were just running around earlier with like fake guns.
Right, right,
Not
right.
necessarily fake guns. They had blanks, which is hilarious because
Oh yeah,
they
there's
just,
a part where they're in the bank and the guy was saying some stupid shit, and the guy walks up to him and starts shooting him.
and he's just like,
and
oh,
He just starts freaking out like, oh my god, oh my god.
He's like, I'm dead. I'm dead.
My
I'm
God.
completely dead. I'm
Just
like,
blanks.
I'm
My
like,
God.
all right.
All right.
Like this is, I mean, the comedy in this movie is up there, but like it's just kind of some weird like aspects like that would never happen.
Right, right, right.
I got a question for you guys.
Yeah.
You can only pick one movie to watch for the rest of your life. What movie are you picking?
Chef,
Perks of being a wallflower.
Which movie did you say?
good movie.
Which movie did you say?
Me?
Yeah.
Chef.
Oh, that's a good choice.
I love that.
Oh, that movie's good. That movie's really good.
By John Favreau.
Yeah.
Is that
and
the
he's
one with
in it.
He's-
Bradley Cooper? Or
No,
am I
you're thinking of Burnt.
Oh yeah.
The Chef is with John Favreau.
Good movie, though.
He's yeah, that was a good movie. He's like a chef, and then he like yells at a critic and loses his job. And then he goes and gets a food truck in Miami. He's hanging out with
Oh
his kid.
yeah. I haven't seen it, but I've seen the trailer for
It's
it.
on Netflix. Good movie.
Oh, that's
Really good
So
movie.
fucking good. I watch it a lot. I have the soundtrack on Spotify because the soundtrack is fucking awesome.
Yeah, it is. Like I recommend it. A lot of Cuban like rhythmic songs that are on that soundtrack.
because it's like it's based in Miami.
Mhm.
Oh,
Like that's
yeah.
where he's from and everything in the movie. And then like his sous chef is like also from Miami. And it's like it's just super good.
Yeah.
The vibes in that movie, unbeaten.
Mm-hmm.
Really good. Dang, that's a good choice.
One movie for the rest of your life.
I know. That's why it's hard. I'm like,
Yeah, that's like really difficult.
like it's like, I don't think I like if it was best movie ever, that's easy. Like your favorite movie ever, that's easy. Favorite movie, Godfather Part 2, best movie, Citizen Kane. But do I want to watch those? The only movie I can watch for the rest of my life?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Yeah, that's
Ooh.
the thing that makes me kind of like.
Close second, McFarland USA.
Haven't seen it. I saw the preview.
I
Really?
like that.
That's
I like that
yours?
movie.
Yes,
but
I
feel like
enjoy
after-
that movie a lot.
I mean, I enjoyed it too, but
I feel like
I'm not
after
going to watch it
watching
more
more
than
than
once.
Yeah.
oh,
Yeah.
I love that movie.
Watching it more than once.
I literally put it on in the background while I do homework.
Oh, I'd want to blow my brains out.
No,
Oh,
dude,
my
I
God.
love that movie.
I'll blow your brains out.
I'll fucking blow your back out, bro. Get out of
Shut
here.
up. All right. What's your movie, Dale? You haven't gone over it. What's your movie?
God, this is really difficult.
This is hard.
Yeah, because like I'm thinking of a lot of my favorite movies and I love them, but then I'm like, would I want to watch it for the rest of my life? I don't know. Like,
I haven't narrowed down to a couple. God, there's a lot of Quentin Tarantino going through my head.
Oh, Kill Bill. That's a good one, too.
Not one of the Quentin Tarantino movies I was thinking of.
You don't like Kill Bill?
Oh, I love Kill Bill, but that's not one of the ones I want to watch for the rest of my life.
you know what? I'd choose Goodfellas.
Ooh,
Fuck it.
that's a good one.
Fuck
That's
it.
a good one.
Because it's just really fun to watch. You know what I mean? It's a fun watch, and I think it would be consistently fun.
I feel like I'm cheating if I pick a sports movie. That's the thing. But I'm also what?
Oh no, I'm good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll have it for when I'm done with this. Yeah. Or I'll try one of the other ones. Yeah, I'll try one of the other ones. Fuck, I haven't narrowed down to like 2, and they're very different.
Mhm.
Either it's gonna be either Inglourious Bastards
Okay.
or Rocky 2.
Oh, okay.
Like I said, very different.
But like they're both fun watches.
Yeah.
Kind of like
course.
Goodfellas. I feel like Goodfellas is like it's a great movie, but it's also a fun watch. Because a lot of my favorite movies, I don't know how fun it would be to watch them like all the time. You know what I mean?
Fuck, man. I gotta go with Rocky 2 just for the nostalgia.
enough.
Because I used to watch it on VHS growing
Yeah.
up. Gotta go with Rocky 2.
Dude,
Yeah.
I love the VHS. Like, just having a VHS tape in your hand just makes you feel like... it makes you feel like a kid again whenever I hold one. Because,
Oh yeah.
I remember
used
we
to
had
have all the
a
Disney movies
TV
on
with like
VHS.
VHS, like built,
Yeah, we
built
had
into
those
the
too.
TV.
I'd always watch Land Before Time on VHS.
Oh yeah, I used to love that. I used to watch a lot of VeggieTales too.
Is
Oh,
that
yeah.
was that one of your movies?
Land Before Time?
Yeah.
No, definitely not.
Damn.
No.
No,
Don't
we
get
had-
me wrong, it's good, but
We
We
it's
had
not one of
the
my
whole Rocky
you know.
series on VHS and then a shit ton of Disney movies.
Yeah.
I watched Bambi so many fucking times. I watched Bambi, bro, and The Fox and the Hound.
Oh yeah.
First movie I ever cried watching.
Fox and the Hound is good.
Bro,
Underrated.
the opening scene to Fox and the Hound is one of the saddest scenes in movie history. Calling
Especially
it.
like
That
when
one
the
gets free-
fish gets lost or whatever, and Dad can't find him.
And the Fox and the Hound?
God, I hate you.
Yeah.
He's trying to make
Hate
fun
you
of Finding
so
Nemo.
much.
Okay, I was gonna say like this isn't sounding familiar.
Nemony.
I think Fox and the Hound is underrated. I
It
don't really
is.
hear a lot of attention for it, and I feel like it's one of the best.
You know,
So good.
You know what's
So good.
what's also an underrated Disney movie?
What's that?
All dogs.
Robin
go to heaven.
Hood.
Fuck.
Really?
That too. All dogs go to heaven.
Always good.
But
ones good.
Robin Hood, like the old Robin Hood.
Interesting.
Like I think it's
I don't know that
animated
it's
with like the font. Like
Underrated. I think it's properly rated. I think a lot of Disney people
Yeah.
really like that movie.
yeah, but every time like, because you haven't seen it, right, Cam, or have you?
Yeah.
Okay, but you have you seen it though?
Which one?
The
You
Robin
asked
Hood.
me at the wrong time.
Oh, yeah,
It-
but it's been a long
The
time.
Disney version with like the animals
mean,
and shit.
It's
like,
animated.
15 years ago, probably. I've seen it.
It's a
you
good
know?
movie. I didn't watch it until like Rebecca told me, like, you know, you should like she told
Oh,
me.
so it's fresh in your mind.
What about
Yeah.
Jungle Book?
Jungle Book is good.
you guys like that?
It's good. I don't think it's underrated, but it's good.
You know what?
I think everybody
You see
universally
the,
loves
like
it.
the
you know?
live action version of it, or
Oh no, I haven't.
no?
that is. I heard like, was it good?
I liked it.
You know what Robin Hood movie was awful?
Hmm.
The live action Robin Hood Prince of Thieves with Kevin Costner.
Oh, I remember
That
that,
was
one.
good. What do you
no,
mean?
it wasn't. Have you heard his British accent? It's awful.
It is
it's
pretty bad.
terrible.
Oh,
to
God.
watch
Like,
it.
and I love Kevin Costner.
I do too.
Yeah.
He's
Like,
great.
oh damn, fuck.
He was in.
I just thought of Kevin Costner, and now I thought of another freaking movie that might be the one I'd want to watch for the rest of my life.
What's
Which
that?
one?
For the love of the game,
Oh yeah.
or nah, I'd pick for the love of the game.
I like
Bull
him
Durham.
in
Wait, is he the
McFarland
one
USA.
in Oh my god, I can't think of the
in Bull Durham.
fucking name. No.
Thinking
Is
of
it Field of Dreams? I think. Is that
Yeah,
him?
he's in Field of Dreams.
Yep,
Yeah.
that's a good one too.
Dude, Kevin Costner's been in a lot of really good baseball movies.
Cross country movies too.
I don't give a
one
fuck
sucks.
about that.
It's not a real sport.
Oh shit!
I wouldn't go saying that.
Shit.
Don't say that.
I'm not on that train. The camera's off.
Oh yeah, I'll turn it on.
I'm not on the. It's not a sport train. I don't really care.
It's definitely a sport. Like,
obviously,
it's like one of the oldest sports in the world. Like,
Yeah,
it's running.
It's one of the oldest. I think next to the marathon run.
well, because they
It's
did
the same
They
shit.
Or the
did
running
running
marathon,
They
yeah.
did running and throwing and jumping events in like the original Olympic games in
Yeah.
games in
Yeah.
ancient Greece.
The
So,
original
like,
Olympiad.
yeah,
What are you talking about?
I think they
football
even-
too.
yeah, totally. No, I mean there was. Well, actually, never mind. Never mind.
Don't agree with him. Don't.
No, I was. Let me explain my thought process before. Hold on, let me turn on the camera on.
They did sword fights. Little
Oh Lord, Cameron,
Why couldn't you wait till the camera's on for that?
because I don't want no one to see that. That's embarrassing.
demonetized right away if they see that. Oh, but
No.
was it the Mayans or the Aztecs that have that? It's not necessarily. They play with a big, heavy rubber ball.
Talking about the game from Road to El Dorado.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
That,
I forgot about
that's
that
a
movie.
Good movie.
That's a
Oh my
great
god.
Yeah, that movie's awesome.
It's not as it's not as much
Yeah.
as appreciated as
That
it should
if
be.
you would have said that's an underrated movie,
No, that
100%.
movie is
Oh,
so
yeah.
underrated. That movie and Atlantis are so
Dude,
underrated.
That's such a good
yes,
movie.
Atlantis
Yeah.
is so good.
Second one
So
sucks. but
good.
Yeah,
first
Yeah, I
one
haven't
was
seen the
great.
second one.
First one.
Yeah, but no, I know
Look,
what game
Disney
you're
doesn't
talking
have a
about,
good
though, yeah.
track record with sequels, so we'll give them a break.
Yeah, it's so weird. Like
What are
it's
you
so
talking about?
weird.
Cars 2?
That's Pixar.
Oh,
That's the thing. The Pixar ones
Also,
are
if
good.
you're gonna bring up Toy Story, also Pixar.
Atlantis too,
Oh,
isn't
yeah.
Atlantis Pixar?
no, Atlantis is Disney.
No,
Is it?
Atlantis was before Pixar.
I thought it was DreamWorks.
Oh, I think it was.
Yeah, I was about to say I
DreamWorks.
don't
Was
think
it
it's either
DreamWorks?
of them.
I just knew
Pretty
it
sure it's
wasn't.
DreamWorks.
Sorry, I just knew it wasn't Disney.
Wait, was it Treasure Planet that was Disney?
Treasure Planet's Disney.
That's
That one's
another
good,
one
too.
that's like
Treasure Planet.
Oh, is it just
also
straight up
amazing.
Disney?
I wasn't a big fan because Treasure Planet always
Are you
had me
checking it
lost.
out?
Oh,
Still?
whoops! Why did I say island?
I feel like they were just trying to run on the high of Star Wars and like other like planets and like
I
galaxies.
don't think so. It had a different vibe to it. Like,
What are you looking up now?
oh, did you guys ever see Sinbad?
No.
Oh my God, Sinbad was so good, man.
Which one's that?
It was about like a guy who was a pirate, but there was also this like
Do you have a picture of it?
yeah, I can pull it up.
Why does that sound so familiar? I feel like my dad talks about it a lot.
Dude, that is one of my favorites. Like Sinbad, Atlantis, The Road to El Dorado,
to
Treasure
El Dorado.
Planet. Like those are all like some of the best ones.
Also, the Road to El Dorado is actually like, extremely historically accurate.
Oh fuck! What was the one with the llama?
Oh,
Emperor's New Groove.
Yeah,
yeah.
Emperor's New Groove.
Okay, no,
easily one of
Oh,
my
yeah.
favorites.
different Sinbads.
Easily, bro. So good. I could watch this movie now. Same thing with The Road to El Dorado. I
I
could
haven't
easily.
seen that, but it seems like the same vibe as
It's
Road to El Dorado.
fucking great, man. They're both like so good.
Quality movies, guys. Like literally, we're all just like reminiscing on
Yeah.
like our childhood movies, but they're all quality movies and they're
Yeah.
all like up there whenever it comes to like top tier movies.
Yeah, because
SpongeBob
those
SquarePants,
ones
that
have
movie.
aged.
Yeah,
Underrated.
they
very
aged
well.
very well.
Have you guys seen the? You know they how long was it ago? I don't know, but recently they did the 101 Dalmatians movie about Cruella.
Cruella de Vil.
Yeah, was it good?
It was.
It was really I really liked it.
Oh, I didn't see it.
But
Huh.
dude, that literally made me like feel for Cruella.
Yeah.
I was like, damn.
I need to
You know
rewatch
what?
it. 'cause
That's
I
why
don't
people
remember.
didn't like it because they kind of made Cruella the good guy, and she's a villain.
Girl.
They don't. No, there's a difference.
like her
They don't
origin
make her-
story.
They don't. Yeah.
Yeah.
They don't make her the good guy. They humanize her, which people don't
Okay.
like.
That's-
But
Like they didn't like it.
people are humans, so it's like,
They forget to realize, like we're all humans here. But
yeah, you
they
can
don't
feel
forget.
for her story without like agreeing with her actions.
It's a really good movie.
People do
The
that with,
story
like,
behind it
his-
is really good.
Mhm.
People who do that with historical figures all the time. Like you bring up, like, damn, Mussolini had a real fucked up childhood. Like he was getting stabbed and stabbing other people as a kid because he just had to defend himself and all that.
Sometimes
They're
you just
like,
gotta shank
but
them.
he killed all these people. I'm like, yeah, that's awful. And
Terrible.
I'm glad that he's dead now and he should have never done it. He's an awful person, but he also had a terrible childhood. Like, I don't know. People like hate when you like acknowledge that like even people that did bad stuff are human.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't Like, I don't get that. Because, like, whenever you do something bad, do you want people to, like, forget that you're a person and have, like, value?
Well,
no.
I think it's also because then it kind of puts the responsibility on everybody. Because you're also like, well, if people can be in this horrible situation, then it's kind of also partly the responsibility of, like, us as a society to make sure that doesn't happen again.
Right.
You know what I mean?
But people can also be in that horrible situation and not do that.
Oh, yeah, that also happens.
So that's where I think it's like, sure, yes, there is a conversation we have, like, how much is it is due to society? Like, you know, when you have, like, the serial killer that's like, oh, yeah, he killed, like, this certain group of people because growing up, like, he was, like, targeted and harassed and, like, beaten and stuff, like, by that certain group of people.
Yeah.
You know, whether it be teachers or, like, a certain, like, build and hair color of a person or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, you could be like, oh, well, society. But I'm like, also, like, yeah, but also, like, don't do fucked up shit.
Yeah,
because you got fucked up shit did to you.
I think there is.
Like, you can still feel for someone as a human and condemn their action.
I think there is a certain point there too. Like when it feels horrible when you hear about somebody who, like, had to kill someone, but it was like in association with, like, living the gang life, and it was, like, more of a business thing, and they just lived in this fucked up situation where it was like if they didn't do it, they were gonna get killed themselves, and, like, you can kind of just see how from a kid they were just raised in this horrible circumstance. But then you see, like, serial killers, and you're like, well, they just wanted to kill people.
Yeah.
They just wanted to kill people.
There's some people that have, like, no, like, obviously they're human, and maybe they, but, like, there's some people where it's like, nah, like I say don't condemn the person, but, like, there's definitely points where you condemn the person.
Yeah. There's points where you look at, like, Jeffrey Dahmer and you're like,
you're like,
you didn't have to do that.
I don't care what happened in your childhood. You're a fucking demon.
We were talking about murders.
You good?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay.
We were talking about murders not too long ago with, like, remember, I think it was Perla. And I think Frank, or was it just us three? And we were just talking about, like, what it really takes to actually make a murder.
Oh yeah. We were talking about. Well, we were talking about from the cycle.
Yeah.
Well, we were talking about the homicidal triad and the psychological perspective of it.
I think it just depends on the circumstances.
It also it also has other stuff to account.
They have through observing. Did you put tahini in it?
Yeah.
Interesting.
I tried to shake it up and it started spraying all over the place.
God damn it! I'm gonna have to clean that up.
No, it didn't get all over the place.
But basically, there's, like, from observing serial killers for however long they've been observing them now, psychologically they found, like, well, they found the homicidal triad, which are things that you do, 3 things that occur in your childhood that predispose you to be more likely to become a serial killer. Mm-hmm. But then they also found, like, a lot of serial killers have a part of their brain that is like smaller than most people's.
Yeah.
Or they have, like, less activity in their brain in that region. No. But then there's, like, the homicidal triad, which is, like, if you have, I think I could be wrong because I don't remember it completely, but it's like if you had an abuse, if you were abused as a child, you lit fires and you or no, it was if you wet the bed, lit fires, and were abusive to animals as a child, then you're, like, predisposed to being more likely to being a serial killer.
Mm-hmm. Just out of curiosity, for that thing you guys are talking about, like, what's, like, the definition of a serial killer? Does it just mean somebody who's murdered multiple people?
Pretty sure.
Well, generally, a serial killer, the difference between a serial killer and, like, a mass murderer per se, is that a serial killer has, like, a method, an MO, and, like, they do the same kill basically on, like, multiple different people.
Okay.
Where a mass murderer is like, I just wanted to shoot 5 people. So I went and shot 5 people.
Yeah.
That's part of the distinction.
Like a Zodiac killer is a good example of a serial killer, especially here in California.
Yeah.
It's like that's a serial killer. He had like an MO. He left little like a crumbs. So, like, he could get caught, but no one really was able to do that.
Well, it's not so they can get caught.
Oh, not so, but it's like
it's a ritual for them.
Yeah. It's just like that's like another reason. Like,
well, it's like the same way when, like, you know, me and Alec throw. It's like the same way when we get in the ring, we do the same thing every time. It's not for any particular purpose. It's because that's the way we do things. That's the way we operate. Like,
Yeah.
we could do it differently and it would work just as well. Just the same as like, you know, the Zodiac killer could have had different rituals at his kill and different and done it in a different methodology, but like he did it that way because it's specific to him.
Yeah. No, the reason I asked about like what the specific definition that you guys were working with is just because it gets so muddy when you think about people that are killing for business and then people that are actually seeking out death, right? Because you could argue
because they have that's why they have two, because in the FBI they have different profiles of, like of criminals, and like, you know, like a hitman has a completely different profile from a serial killer.
Yeah.
And just like within a serial killer you have a different profile, whether it's like a sexual sadist or whether it's like, you know, a revenge killer, like like, you know.
Yeah.
That's what I was going to touch on is like, yeah, because there's people that you think of traditional serial killers, like the Zodiac killer, or Jeffrey Dahmer, or that guy in the Bay Area. You know, it's like that fits like what you think of as a serial killer. But there's also people that just kill because it's their job to be good at killing people.
Yeah.
Whereas like if you looked at somebody who's like a sniper in the military, if the definition is just killing multiple people, then, you know, the job of the U.S. military is to train serial killers. But we would never look at them and say they're a serial killer. Whereas we might look at somebody who works for like a criminal organization and say, well, they're getting paid to kill, they're a serial killer. Really, it's all the same. You're just getting employed by different people. But it's business, right? You're not seeking it out. It's just you're in this situation.
I mean, I think that's why they have different profiles for it.
Yeah.
Where a hitman is like, I have this set of skills, I can make money doing it.
Yeah.
That's where it ends.
Like,
Where a serial killer is like, I don't get money from it. I just
you just
have
enjoy
some
it.
sort of impulse to
thrill.
do it. Some of them don't even enjoy it.
Yeah.
Some of them want to be stopped. They just have like an impulse to do it and can't stop themselves. Not excusing them to do it.
No.
It's like they don't have any control. Obviously,
but it's like
the final decision is there on whether they do it or not. But it's like, you know, like with ADHD, when people have like Tourette's or tics or something, like it's like not to that extent, because Tourette's you literally can't control. But it's like that thing. It's like an impulse for them to do it.
Yeah.
Where my impulse is to like backhand Dale in the fucking head right now.
All right, bitch.
It's like, it's just
they're the same thing. I can control it.
There's just different definitions, and there's so many of like definitions of like what they could be called and like what like there are. It's just kind of, it's just got to be on the spectrum of where they land.
Well, I think like we all know what we're talking about. We're just also trying to figure out the right words to express it. Because when we say serial killer, we all collectively understand what we mean when we say serial killer. You know what I mean?
Right.
We all understand that. We just got to find the right words to like express it.
It's like the Supreme Court argument on pornographic content. It's like, I don't know what it is, but I know it when I see it.
Exactly. Yeah. It's like that type of thing. Like we all know what it means. So finding a definition is kind of difficult though, just because, there's so many weird details that muddy it.
I was thinking the other day, I'm like, I have no idea, like, why are people so into true crime and serial killers and stuff like I don't get it. And then I realized, like, a lot of people are into space. Like, we don't know a lot about space. Like, it's something that we haven't explored.
You have yet to see How to Make a Murderer on Netflix.
No, I have seen it.
Oh, you have?
Yeah.
I mean, it's like it kind of How to Make a Murderer.
Oh.
Like that really just gets you into questions. Like, damn, like because it makes you look for like certain impulses in other people, and you kind of just realize, like, damn.
You start profiling people.
Yeah, you start profiling. You're like, damn, like just like one specific, like one wrong move, and this guy could just be snapped. Like this guy could just like snap, and he like goes murder, like on a murder spree.
I'll preface this with I am interested in true crime. I'm not like pondering like I don't understand it because I don't get it. No, I'm interested in it, but I was pondering like why am I interested in it? Why are people interested in it?
I always watch Criminal Minds. I know what I'm talking about.
But I was thinking about like you think about like. People love Neil deGrasse Tyson because he knows about space and he's an astrophysicist. We don't know all about space. It's not thoroughly explored. Same thing with the bottom of the ocean. And I think the key thing that comes to true crime that people always talk about is like, why did they do it? And that comes down to psychologically what happened for them to do it. And then you think about the human mind in relation to the ocean, to, you know, space. It's like one of the last frontiers. Like we don't understand it. Like
it's true, actually.
The part about the human body that we understand
the last frontier. I find it so cool.
Yeah, I mean, and that's what the human mind is for biology.
Yeah.
It's like one of the last places in the because everywhere else, sure, we can always learn more about everything in the body, but we understand less about the brain than anything else in the human body.
And it's weird because we have to use our brain to do the research to figure these things out, but we don't understand how the brain works to actually do that.
Like, damn, bro,
and I think
why am I doing this?
I think that's what it comes down to. Because every time you see a true crime podcast or show or movie, what is always the question or the thing that never gets answered is
what was the motive?
Why? Why did they do it? What happened in their life and in their brain to cause them to do this?
It's because he was playing Fallout.
Actually. No,
it's because he was playing Call of Duty.
Don't put that on. You know how much Fallout. You know how much I love
that,
Fallout. Why are you trying to put that on me?
Did you see what they did though?
What?
The kid?
The kid that showed up to school. I guess they're trying to blame Fallout for it.
Oh, that's fucking ridiculous.
Then like when the freaking prosecutor in the Rittenhouse case was like, "Do you play Call of Duty?"
Yeah.
What?
No, his parents are honestly one of the key factors to blame.
Well, yeah.
His parents did nothing.
I'm not gonna lie. I have no idea what you guys the shooting. I knew that there.
Yeah,
I knew that there was a shooting in Oxford, but I've not looked into it at all.
My parents have been keeping up on it pretty heavily because
I just saw they have a connection with Fallout 4 and that. I'm like, what the fuck?
Was he bullied or something? I'm assuming
he
it's
was.
a he.
He was.
I'm assuming he
much,
was a white man or white boy.
White 15-year-old boy.
Yeah.
He was bullied, and I think a couple weeks or a couple days before the shooting actually had happened, a teacher caught him on his phone looking up ammunition for, I think it was a pistol that he had or a pistol that he wanted to get. And the teacher caught him. The teacher reported it. The teacher even called and texted the parents to let them know. It's like, hey, your son shouldn't be doing this in school. This is inappropriate. Mom then goes text the kid, hey, I'm not mad at you. Just don't get caught next time because, don't be smart about it. And then later on, the kid, the day of the shooting or the day before the shooting, I'm not too sure, but he's drawing on a paper of him shooting up classmates or him just killing classmates.
And he was 15?
He's 15.
Yeah.
So what you're telling me is he's just like every other white teenage.
I disagree because when I was a
minute.
freshman in high school, I wasn't drawing crayon pictures of shooting up schools.
No, I'm not. No. I'm not saying he's just like every other white 15-year-old. I'm saying he's just like every other white 15-year-old school shooter. All the ingredients that a school shooter has are there.
Wait till you hear this. I think it was that day that the shooting happened that he was drawing it. The parents were called. And the parents were asked to take his kid home. The parents just looked at the school and they're like, "You think we're stupid?" They just kind of said, "No, we're not going to take him home. He's going to stay here. He's going to go through he's just going to stay through the whole school day." They went back. Boom. Does what he does. Terrible thing. Literally the worst thing to happen ever.
Didn't the parents get arrested?
The parents were on the run. The parents, after that happened, the parents texted him hey, don't do it. Be smart. Don't do it. Goes and does it. After that, the parents take out, I think, 4 racks, go on the run. They get caught at the Canadian border, and the kid's in jail. So the parents are at fault. The parents could have 100%.
They sound like horrible parents.
Yeah, the parents could have 100% stopped it from happening, but they completely ignored all the warning signs, ignored everything, and just said, you know what? My kid's going to shoot at school too. Might as well just, let it happen.
So
and they just kind of
to summarize,
run.
He's a young white teenager boy
keep saying that.
who was bullied in school, didn't have a support system from friends or parents, showed aggressive acts, whether it be buying ammo or writing that he's going to shoot people, and had access to guns, and with no support system to stop him from doing it, he did it. That's literally every other school shooter.
But what sets this one apart from most...
Obviously it's different because the parents are fucking real bad because they knew he was going to do it and didn't do shit.
That's what sets this apart from everything else.
That's what's different, but it still doesn't change the profile of the kid.
It does not, but it sets it apart because the parents could have 100% prevented this from happening.
Well, yeah.
But they were so naive and just so in denial that their kid was going to do it. I mean, not even in denial. They knew he was going to do it. They asked him, hey, just don't do it.
And instead of mentioning the mental health issues he likely had and that his parents knew that he was going to do it, and they're obviously shitty parents. All the politicians are going to say, oh, well, if he didn't have a gun, he wouldn't have shot up the school, so we need to get rid of guns. Yep. It's the same shit that happens every single time.
It's just bad parenting at that point.
It's
just
bad parenting and a lack of awareness with mental health.
Yep. And honestly, that's another thing that they're bringing up.
And
in the news.
no armed guards at the school.
I don't think there should be armed guards at schools. I'll be honest.
That
should not be the point we get to.
You say that until you get shot by a student who brought a gun, and there's no one to shoot him.
No, I say that because I know how dumb school staff are.
Yeah,
and I don't want to put guns in their hands.
I didn't say school staff. What the fuck?
No, but you said armed guards.
There's not going to be armed guards at every
company.
single high school. No,
I'm not saying at every single high school. I'm saying
well, how do you target which high schools get guards and which high schools don't?
I'm saying those high schools get to choose whether or not they want to hire a security company to have
security guards like Waterford did. You know, little redhead walking around.
That's a private security. Technically, that would be like the type of people they'd hire, and that's the thing. I'm not comfortable with that at all. Also,
I mean,
we shouldn't.
Because who's going to say that they're not going to fucking?
We should not be. We shouldn't be at the point where.
Who's to say that the armed security guards who have to have no criminal background, be psychologically vetted, and have no history of violence? Who's going to say that they don't do it?
Yeah,
come on.
You never fucking know.
I'm just saying it should be an option. I'm not saying that every school should have armed guards. Obviously, I'm not saying that. It should be up to the school. And if you know what, if you don't want your kids going to a school that has armed guards, then take your kids to a different school.
What if there's only one school in your area?
What if there's only one school in your area? Well, that's where I advocate for school choice because I'm not stupid and think that you should be locked in by the freaking county that you live in.
But what if you live in like a rural area where there's only one school in like a 21 square mile area?
Okay, well, at that point, you have no choice, and that's awful. But if you're going to it... But it's the same way that if you want to go to a school that has a private school with armed guards, but there's no private schools around you, and you're forced to go to a public school that you don't want to go to, you're also forced into that decision.
Private schools actually have more security than public schools. That's mainly because they have the funding for it, and they also they're more strict. They're more just like uniform and everything, but public schools, they don't have the funding.
I took your drink. We don't care.
And honestly, I don't agree for
I would love to see the statistics. I don't have the statistics, but I would love to see the statistics of what percentage of shootings are at public schools versus private schools. Because there's been firsthand, there's been a lot of shootings where they Ben Shapiro talks about it, where he went to a private Jewish high school, and his high school had armed security guards. When then another private Jewish school that didn't have armed security guards got shot up, and when they arrested the guy and interviewed him, they're like, "Yeah, I went to this school first, and then I saw there was armed guards outside, so I went to another school and they didn't have armed guards, so I went and shot up that one."
But wouldn't you also agree that it's obviously more likely that there's going to be a shooting at a public school because there's less if you have somebody going to a private school, then there's already a prerequisite that they have the money to go to that school. Yeah. And if that family has that money, they probably can provide a support system and provide counseling and a nanny and everything else.
Sure, money can help you make it easier to do those things, but school shooters are they're not particularly poor.
You know, I know.
The demographic, they're not particularly poor. It's not a money problem. But they don't have a support
it's everything
system
that comes with the money. Because when you have a kid,
money can't buy mental health.
No.
That's exactly my
money
argument.
Can't buy mental health. But when you grow up with a family where the parents have so much money that they can spend time with the child, or when they aren't with the child, they can afford to spend on a whole staff like nannies that can take care of the child, work with them, talk to them. How many times do we hear about these things that happen with these kids? And it's some family that was broke and they live in the Midwest somewhere and they can't afford anybody to help with their kid. So their kid has no role models. The parents are all at work all day. Sometimes they're broken up. The kid's on pills. They're on all these issues. They don't have the money to work through these things. And so no shit, they're not going to go to a private school.
I think in that very specific situation where the only thing stopping them from spending time with their kid and helping their mental health is money, then yes, that applies.
I just don't think it's as unique as you're saying.
A lot of school shootings
do
not happen. Most school shooters do not come from a low economic background. They're usually middle class.
But it's also easier said than done because it's hard to come out with mental health. It's because
I'm not saying it's easy. I'm saying that's where the fault is.
Even though that's where the fault lies, it doesn't mean it's going to be an easy fix. It's the hardest fix there is. You can't just go up to the kid like, "Yo, I know something's wrong in your head. You're going to tell me right now." You can't go up to tell that to a kid. You got to kind of get it out of them. It's going to take time. Sometimes it takes up to like a year or two. It took a long time, like especially for me, it took a long time to actually get out and like accept, you know, I had like a mental health issue. I was kind of suffering from like depression and anxiety. I was like at a down, like I was at a low. But it's hard for people to come out, especially with those types of families, because like his parents were saying like, no, you're good, you're fine.
Yeah, and that is the fault of the parents.
He wasn't fine at all.
They didn't have money.
Yeah, it's not that they don't have money.
Even without money, even without anything, if you have a mental health issue, you're much less likely to harm yourself or others while you are in the process of getting support and getting help.
But
not from a professional, but just from friends.
I'm not
saying that it's unheard of that someone who has a support system is getting help does something bad. Obviously that can happen. But it's a lot less likely to happen than someone who literally has no friends, no support system, no support from their parents.
But like that.
And don't you think that's a lot more likely in a public school where people have less money? Yeah.
I think neglect is not something that is unique to the poor.
I agree, but I think
that's the whole problem.
I agree, but I think if you're already in this class of people that's willing and able to pay for a private school, sure, you do have problems that you need to deal with, but those poor people have all the exact same problems, but compounded by the fact that they're poor.
Yeah, it's just.
I don't know. I just don't see like back to like the armed guards. Like, I don't see what the argument is for not to have that it's a bad thing to have armed guards at school. Not saying that every school should do it. I don't see the arguments that a bad thing because we protect politicians, we protect famous people, singers, actors. All the important people in the world we protect with armed guards. The president's protected by Secret Service. What do they carry? Guns. So if we're so committed to the fact that children are like the next generation, they're like one of the most important parts of this country, but we're not willing to protect them, I don't really understand that.
I agree. Kids should be protected because like I have a niece and nephew. I don't have kids myself, but I do have like a little niece and nephew, and I want to protect them with my life. But it gets to a point because like they're going to school, they should feel safe as is. Yeah. And like having to add armed guards, I'm like, I would not want to take.
Of course, they should feel safe as is. But I know, if that's like, not a reality, then we have to do something to change that. I'm not saying
having armed guards is a bad idea. It's an idea, and yes, we should take it into consideration. But I'm just saying, I would much rather prefer like my kids, if I ever have kids, to like go to a school that don't necessarily need to have armed guards.
Yeah, I think the difference here, this is like the difference between having a healthcare system that's focused on like preventative care as opposed to like surgery and stuff like that. So if I told you, look, we're not going to provide any care for you, you're going to get cancer for sure, but we'll pay for the chemo, you would be like, this is ridiculous. And I'd say, well, don't worry, we'll protect you, we'll pay for the chemo. You would say that's ridiculous. I don't want to have a risk in the first place. So when I look at schools, I don't know. Let me finish.
All right.
When we have the school situation, I don't want it to be in the minds of the kids that we don't care the point that kids get to, that they want to kill their classmates. But don't worry, we will kill that person if they pull a gun. We should have kids be comfortable enough to know, look, we're going to do something about this to make this as rare as physically possible. So it doesn't get to the point where you have to drop a kid in the middle of school.
Yeah, like I completely agree.
All right.
They're not going to feel more comfortable with armed guards. They're going to be that much more aware
I would feel more comfortable with armed guards.
You would. That's a very rare situation.
I don't think it is. I don't think it is.
Like
most kids are going to look around. They see armed guards in their elementary schools. They're going to say, well, why do we need armed guards? It's a reactionary measure.
Yeah.
It's a reactionary measure because we're anticipating kids dying.
Right. But here's the thing. Anytime you look at a policy prescription, whether it's for anything, you have the short-term solution or protection, the Band-Aid fix, while you're working on the long-term fix. We cannot immediately change the status quo when it comes to, mental health in kids and young adults overnight. That's just not something that can be done.
Okay.
Long term, of course, I want to help mental health and I want to stop this from happening at all. But in the meantime, we do need a Band-Aid fix, something that ensures like, hey, we're doing things long term to fix this, but it's not going to happen overnight. And while we're working on this, we want to make sure that our kids are safe. And while we would obviously, I'd rather not. Like, if it wasn't needed, I wouldn't suggest it. Mm. But is it a good thing that someone who pulls a gun gets at school has to be killed or shot to be stopped. No, I don't want any kids to die. But if a kid is going to die, I think it should be the one that pulled the gun and decided to give up his right to life, not the kids who just wanted to go to school and learn and have fun with their friends.
Yeah, I just don't see them having as much fun with their friends when their school environment is just people with guns everywhere having to protect them.
Well, they're definitely not going to have fun with their friends when a school shooter comes in and kills them.
No, obviously they're not. But what I'm saying is I think what's realistically going to happen is if we put armed guards in schools, it's not going to be like, oh, this is a short-term measure till we fix these like institutional problems that we have. It's just going to be like, well, look, you guys are safe now. We have armed guards. Why do we need to worry? And that's a horrible situation for these kids to grow up in.
That's why I think it should be school staffs and principals, and like if it's a private school, like it should be their choice whether to do it or not. And this is another one of the reasons why I'm an advocacy of school choice. Mm-hmm. You shouldn't have to if you do not want to go to a school who has armed guards, you shouldn't have to. You should be able to go to a charter school online, be homeschooled, or go to another school in the area. Like, you should have other options. The same thing if you want to go to a school that you feel protects you more and has armed guards to prevent from a school shooting being as bad, then you should have that choice to be able to go to that school. So I think that's the big thing. Is like, I think if schools want to do it, then they should be able to. And I think if you don't want to go to that school, you shouldn't have to. But I do think it should be an option.
Who do you think should have the vote? Like which people?
I think realistically, when it comes to like a public school, it'd be the school board, and a private school too, because they usually appoint a school board.
Okay.
So it'd be the school board that makes a choice. I would not be for any government mandates or like all public schools must do it. No, the school board at each individual school should evaluate what the students want and what the parents want, and they should do that.
So the parents and the legal guardians of the kids should also have a vote in.
Well, not a vote, but it's in the same way you do a school board. They hear everyone out. They decide in reality, what it should be, what school board is, what government should be, is that you hear the people you're governing over or the people that are going to your school, you hear their opinions and you try to do what's best for them.
Okay.
If most of them want that armed guards and that school decides to do it, good. And if a school decides they don't want to do that, good. And I think each individual student and their parents should be able to choose if they want to go to a school with armed guards, without armed guards.
Okay. So the parents should have a say, but they don't have a vote in what happens.
Well, just in the same way they should be able to tell the school board what they want in the curriculum, but the school board doesn't necessarily give them exactly what they want.
Okay. But it's for the safety of the children.
Yes.
So would you say if the school board decided that they're all for vaccine mandates, but the parents don't want it, that they should have to enforce that too?
That the school should have to enforce that?
Well, no, if the school board decides we're going to do vaccine mandates and all the parents are protesting, but they're like, well, this is for the welfare of the children, so we're overruling you. Your kid's getting vaccinated.
Well, at that
because
point,
that's the same conversation with
no. At that point, if you're a parent, you need to pull your kid out of that school.
What if you can't? What if same situation we were talking about? You live in a rural area.
Zero chance if I had a kid in school. Like, even if you live in a rural, okay, I will homeschool you. Like,
you work all day.
Even if I can't teach you, I'm not going to let my kid get vaccinated. Like, this is the thing. Like, and that's where it comes to school choice. So I think the policy works with school choice, which I advocate for. Without school choice, maybe it could get hard. But also, like, it's very different from a vaccine mandate because we're not forcing things upon the children.
But I think this goes back to what I was saying about the difference between the private and public schools. If you live in a private school, you can afford to do whatever you want. You can hire educators for your kid. You can hire nannies. You can do everything. If you're in a public school and you're dealing with these situations and you're trying to react in the way you think's best for your kid, you still have the same problems as the private school people. You just also have that compounded by the fact that you're poor, you work all the time, and you just can't provide everything for your kid that you might want to.
So what that means to me is basically what you're saying is parents that send their kids to public schools and can't afford private school. Basically, if you want the choice to have your kids protected by armed guards, you're out of luck. You're not allowed to have it. It doesn't matter if you want it. You don't have enough money to get it.
I think the parents should have a choice. I think they should have a vote.
I mean, they have a vote. They elect
like an actual vote.
They elect who goes on the school board. That's how government works, though. That's how a constitutional republic works. That's what our government's based on.
Yeah, but schools
We
don't need to be a
elect-
republic. Schools are small.
Okay,
We could
that's
do
fine.
direct
If
democracy.
in that case, we can give the parents a vote.
I would be for
I'm
that,
fine.
yeah.
Usually, most of the people on the school board are parents.
Yeah, but think about how many
But I'm
parents...
fine with giving like if you want to give like one vote is like the parents. Like I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
Either way, I think it should be like a choice that the schools can make.
Okay.
And if you whether or not you want your kids to go to that school, based on that choice, is completely up to you. You got to choose what school you go to.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't want to force anything on anyone.
Yeah.
I just think they should have the option.
Yeah. Fair enough. Should only turn the camera back on.
Our other podcast people left. Did you guys leave because we were having a political conversation?
I don't think it was that political. It was more just like...
It wasn't really political.
I almost fell.
Cameron has to go to the bathroom. Alec wanted some cake.
Oh, what the heck? I want cake.
He's eating the one you like.
You're eating the... Oh, of course he's eating carrot cake. I like carrot cake because of him.
Man, I wanted to... Fuck.
All right, we're done talking about
wanted to-
school and gun stuff.
I wanted to ask Cameron about... Hey, Cam. Want to come over here for like 5 minutes before we wrap up?
You know, while we're filming,
Fuck yeah. Fucking bitch. I had something I wanted to ask you, and I looked over and you were gone. Anyways, have you listened to the new T Swift album?
I haven't.
So I listened to it first.
Bet you he has.
I know he has. That's why or I'm assuming because he's like more of the Taylor Swift fan than me, but that's why I wanted to ask him. No, I listened to it first as he's coming over here.
Shit!
That scared me so much.
Good thing it was empty.
Yeah, I looked over and my eyes got big. So don't worry about the headphones. But
Is that for me?
Can I ask you a question first?
have you
Okay, go ahead.
have you listened to the new T Swift album?
Have you?
No, not yet.
You're not a real
So
fan.
I
haven't either.
did you listen to it the original one though, like the not
Is it like
re-recorded one?
a cover or not a cover, but like a
Well,
remake
the songs are re-recorded, but then there's 4 extra songs. So kind of
of
Barton.
what album?
Red.
No, actually, I didn't listen to that one.
Okay, so you should listen to it because
Seems to be a T Swift fan.
I listened to it first as like a novelty, just because it was breaking so many records and everybody was talking about it, and I was like, you know what? I've never listened to her before, and everybody's raving about it, so I'm gonna see what the hype's about. So I started listening to it more as like a novelty, just to see what was up, and then by the time I finished it, I was like, this is good. This is really interesting, but no,
That's weird.
it's no. I never doubted that her music was good. I just never really like
I do.
I never dove into it. No, I think you actually should listen to it.
I have.
Oh, the new one?
No, Red.
I've
Okay,
listened to
okay.
a couple songs off of it, but not the whole album, like front
Her
to back.
her old country stuff was really good, and some of her pop stuff is really good. But some of her stuff is really good. Some of her stuff is not.
You should listen
I'll say
to
that.
the acoustic versions. I don't know if those are new
Well, no,
to
the
this
acoustic
version.
the acoustic versions are all good.
Dude, they
Those are the ones I
they
like.
are so fucking good.
Have you listened to the one that she has with Bon Iver?
I haven't listened to a single song that's not on her new album. I just listened to that album front to back, and that's where I'm at now. So I want to listen to some of her old stuff now, but yeah, that's where I'm at. I've only listened to that album, and I was like, you know what? I started it as a novelty, and I finished it, and I was like, you know what? That was actually good. That was really cool. So I'm gonna listen to some of the other stuff now, but yeah, it was
you
pretty.
should listen to
interesting.
her. I think it's Folklore or whatever.
Oh yeah, that's
That
like the second newest one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll probably look back on that. Yeah,
That
I'm
one's good.
curious now because I'm not as crazy about like the poppy stuff, but the more folky kind of stuff she has is really good.
I
If
feel like
you
that's
like
probably
that,
her best stuff.
Yeah.
Listen to her first 2 or 3 albums.
Okay, for
you
sure.
will love it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because I like that stuff because she's got a good voice, and when she does, especially like the more instrumental, like acoustic versions,
Stripped down, yeah.
oh, they're so good,
Yeah.
man. Like
That
she's got,
was the kind of music she was made to make.
Yeah.
yeah. Oh, it's so good. Like the pop ones too.
Not
They just
shake it off.
yeah. They haven't aged as well. Like fuck, what's the one song on Red that like was huge when we were in elementary school?
Is it Blank Space or is that a different?
No, not
album?
Blank Space.
blank, baby.
I Prevailed did it better.
You know the never ever ever. You know that
Oh,
one.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's
so
Red?
So that song, no, it's a good song, but it just hasn't aged as well. Whereas like the other ones, like State of Grace or like Ronin or All Too Well, like those ones have aged really well.
The songs like, the We Are Never, like those sound like a 15-year-old wrote them.
Yeah.
Some of her songs just sound like like she wrote them as a 15-year-old.
Yeah. that's the thing. That one, you can tell it came out of like a certain period in time. The other ones, there's other songs on the album where I'm like, this could come out today, brand new, recorded for the first time, and it would sound current.
Yeah.
Yeah, and some of them are like incredibly like self-reflective and things like
Dude.
that, and actually like make meaningful commentary on like relationships. And some of them are shake it off, and I'm just like, fuck.
Yeah,
And usually it's more the folky stuff where she actually like, I don't know if she writes the music. I'm not. She could. I'm not saying she doesn't. I'm just saying I don't know if she's like the writer on that stuff.
If it's about her ex, she wrote it.
dude. All Too Well. That one is like.
I'd be interested to know like all the poppy shit that no one really likes. Like I'd be interested to know like what if she didn't write that and she wrote all like the really good folky stuff.
Yeah.
That'd be interesting.
Because I'd be like, oh, you just are bad because you decided to go pop. If you would have stayed like folky and country, you'd be writing good music still.
Yeah. But dude, that one Ronin, that one is so fucking sad. So basically the song is about Ronin. It's about a story that she was reading of this woman whose son died of cancer at 4.
God, that's
And
fucking heavy.
the woman made a blog for her son where she basically constantly writes it to like fill him in on like what's happening in the world while he's gone. And the song is about that kid. And the woman whose the song was about reached out to Taylor Swift, and they were talking, and she is credited as a songwriter on the song. And she got to see it like performed live, and it was this huge thing, right?
Damn.
The reason
That is
she
super sad.
it's really, really deep. And
deep.
The reason
Hashtag deep.
here's even it gets sadder. The reason she re-recorded Red was because the masters for the original one got sold. And so this woman, who this was like a connection to her dead son, that song, the master got sold. And so she was so scared that this song that was so like intimate to her was going to disappear. And so Taylor Swift re-recorded it. And then so the newest like blog posts on the blog were basically like her, saying like how happy it is because she's like, look, this song that's about my son that's gone now can still be out there for people to listen to. Because she was saying like basically when the masters disappeared, it's like, well, that's like a piece of my son that's like gone and like hidden now. And then when it got re-recorded, she's like, great, it's still out there. Like his memory's still alive,
Damn.
It's fucking sad, dude. Like
people say art can't affect people's lives.
Dude,
Yeah.
Art is important.
I was like, my eyes were getting wet as I was reading all this, and I was listening to it, and I was like, oh my God. I was like, this is so sad.
That's sad as fuck. You know what? Props
Sad
to
as
Taylor
fuck,
Swift
boy.
for that song then.
Yeah, and like
That's
the
fucking awesome.
profits
I haven't even listened to it, but
and the profits from that song in particular went to this woman for a fund that she set up in her dead son's name to like it's like a fund for kids who get cancer.
oh,
Yeah.
it's pretty good.
Dude, my eyes were getting wet, and I was like, "Oh my God!"
Did you hear about
Like,
Nick
this is
Cannon?
crazy.
Nick Cannon's son?
No, what happened?
I guess he died with a brain tumor.
Oh,
my
shit,
God.
that's
It was like,
sad.
I think 4 months or something like that.
Oh my God.
He was 4 months old.
Yeah.
God, that's sad.
Oh. Man, this is ending on a sad note.
Okay, well, on a funny note, you know how like some bathrooms have like the automatic flushing thing?
Yeah.
Have you ever like, like move your ass a little bit and it goes off?
Yeah. Yeah, it's the scariest thing
I
ever,
did that
dude.
the other day, and
I got away
and I move a little bit to wipe my ass, and the fucking water splashes all up in my nuts.
That's so hysterical. It does. It whirls too much.
Yeah, and
It
I'm
gets
just
crazy.
sitting there with my nutsack wet. I'm like,
Yeah, dude. You're fucking.
I don't know what to do.
Dude, you're fucking like your pride and joy is getting waterboarded in the
I know.
toilet. It's disgusting. Like, because you also, it's not like it's your
Like,
toilet.
now I gotta wipe my ass and dry my balls off,
Yeah,
and then put
yeah.
my pants back on.
You got to give
Yeah,
yourself
it's
a
like-
reach around to try to dry yourself off.
You know
It's
what?
weird.
You know what I
like-
bet his face looked like when it happened? It looked like Thad whenever he got the finger stuck up his ass.
Oh, dude.
Oh yeah.
Did you like arch your back too? You were like, oh man, fucking hell.
That's fucking funny.
God, I couldn't imagine those fucking what are they called?
What?
What they use in Europe? Little
Oh, the B-days.
yeah,
Oh,
Yeah,
bidets,
yeah.
the bidets.
I still haven't
Big
tried
tits?
one, but I
Bidet?
know it's gonna happen, and I know it's gonna be an experience.
I really want to put one in my
Is it going to
parents'
be
room.
an orgasmic experience?
I don't know. I just want to try it. Like, it's definitely really hygienic, but I'm also just curious how it works. Like, I get the concept, but it's like I get the concept, but I've just never tried one. You know? Anyways,
Yeah.
want to wrap up?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, probably a good idea.
Thanks, guys, for
This has
watching
been a fun
this
episode.
Yeah, it was not bad.
This has been a good one. I feel
Sorry
like-
if you didn't like the whole armed guard conversation.
Yeah, you know what? We had some movie talk, we had some game talk, we had some laughs, and then we had like some serious stuff. I feel like this was actually like a really well-rounded episode. But this is a good one. Anyways.
All right. Anyways, we'll sign off. Hope you
we'll
guys
see you
enjoyed
guys
the
next
episode.
week.
See you next
Yeah.
week.
Love you guys.